Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 380, and today we're doing battle with Jinx Draven. And so we're continuing on our exploration of the 4.5 patch. That's the variety patch that ushered in the eternal competitive gameplay, and it's got some new cards and updates that we're looking to really focus on as we play a classic deck here in Jinx Draven. And so the first card added to the mix is going to be Blowback. This is the P and Z version. Well, I guess that's not even true. It's not the P and Z version of Shock Blast, because Shock Blast is the P and Z version, but this is the discardy kind of version of Blowback, to where it costs 4 mana, you deal 1 damage to the opposing Nexus and to an opposing unit. You can discard up to 2 cards to increase that up for 1 damage each card discarded. So if you discard 1 card, it deals 2 to the face, 2 to the unit. You discard 3 cards, deals 3 to the face, 3 to the unit. Very powerful card. It's played out much better than I initially expected it would. I was expecting this to just feel ultimately super clunky and worse than Get Excited all the time, but it's something that I'm definitely been happier with, and it's exceeded the expectations that I really set out for it. The other card to take note of is Draven is back to having 3 health. He's now capable of surviving Mystic Shots, surviving High Notes, all on his own. Very important upgrade for Draven, and I feel like this is something that really pushes him up above Samira and this style of deck. And so Samira did recently catch that nerf in the 4.5 patch to where it's harder to hit the rallies. More importantly, the Flair that she generates can only target herself. And I have never been in a situation over the course of these past few days of Eternal to where I wanted Samira in place of Draven. And so it's not to say that she doesn't belong into the meta or in the formats anymore, but Draven is spectacularly powerful now that he's back to having 3 health. And so, to speak to this deck on its own, there's a lot of varieties of ways that you can go forth with this deck. You can look to be really aggressive. You could include more 1-drops in the deck. We're only playing Legion Rearguard and Zaunite Urchin as the permanent 1-drops, but you can look to include things like Crimson Pigeon. You can include things like Legion Saboteur to really up that 1-cost space in the deck and try and push hard aggressively that way. You can also look to go into a more burn-heavy route to where we start to include things like Mystic Shot, Get Excited, Nox and Fervor, and Decimate. You might even go out of your way to include things like Boom Crew Rookie as ways to really just ignore all of your opponent's units and all of your opponent's game plan and just send all the damage right to the face. But the deck we're playing here today is a little bit more in the middle. It does still carry this very heavy ideal that you get out of Jinx Draven, to where you're going to try and completely fill up the board and then take advantage of that completely full board. The main way to go about that is going to be with Arena Battlecaster. As we always say with any unit boosting card, it's much better to give out +4 or +5 stats to all of your units than it is to +1 or +2. So Arena Battlecaster most certainly works well with that completely full board. And then the same thing applies to the crowd favorite. If you have the full board for the favorite, he gets the bigger stats than he would if there was just 1 or 2 units on the board. And so we're really looking to take advantage of this width. I will say I'm not playing House Spider currently. House Spider is the current width generator that you typically see a lot of, but I don't currently have it in the list right now. That's something that we could look to add in at a future date. The thing I do really want to make note of are the kind of counter strategies to this deck that I'm seeing a lot of in the format right now is either involving Nora. I'm seeing tons of Nora as we climb up through the Eternal Ladder, and we're seeing lots of Stellacorns, whatever that 1/4 thing is that heals every turn. And so if we're looking to really kind of combat these units, you have to go back to that classic strategy of Runeterra to where you want to either elusive, overwhelm, or rally. And so that's why I'm bringing this version here today that features the crowd favorite, but also features the Poro Cannon, as this gives us ways to elusive and overwhelm through our opponent's board while they are trying to just shut down a very heavy ground-based combat. The last thing I'll say before we dive in, when I initially rated Blowback, and the way I still feel right now, is 3 copies of this is just too many. I don't feel like there's enough discard cards to really support playing a full 3 copies of Blowback, and it's a card that tends to get stuck in your hand, like Augmented Experimenter, in the sense that it's just so expensive you can't just spew it out on the board early. And so while I do think that Blowback has a place in a deck like this, I think it should only be at 1 or maybe 2 copies, because drawing a second copy tends to be pretty terrible, and we'll probably reduce this in the future. I will say in the future because we are most certainly going to be playing a ton of Jinx Draven over the next month. But I do want to get the opportunity to both show off Draven and show off Blowback in this video today. So we're playing the full 3 copies in an attempt to draw it, and so we can showcase it just a little bit. And so that's the deck. That's what we're doing battle with today. You know what we're going to do before the battles begin, though. We're going to come out and pay the pay-to-win price, and it is the day for Blowback. It gets that sweet, sweet premium treatment. Everything in the deck is premiumed up to this point, except for the Augmented Experimenter. We might as well just hit that one as well, right? Let's just go ahead. And he's been like lingering in the back lines for so long, just been waiting to be turned premium. Why not just do it on this random day for this random ladder event that we're going to be doing? Just premium out everything. Feels really good. We got everything looking good today, man. We got Jinx all skinned up. We've got Draven at the pool party. We got the pool party board out here. Whew, this feels good, man. This feels good. I like everything that's happening. Getting out here playing some aggro decks, doing some burn stuff, getting on the pool party. Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good. And okay, the battles begin up against Trundle Ornn. I'm really curious if this is going to be the Trundle Ornn deck that we just featured in our previous video, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to go ahead and mulligan everything. I would prefer to find either a permanent 1-drop or a discard outlet. I don't want to be starting with all of the discard stuff without anything to actually discard it. And so a much better start here. We got the Urchin into the Jerry Rig, and hey, looks like he's doing it. Oh, he's playing Ornn, not Tryndamere, though. I did a little bit of testing with Ornn and didn't like that he didn't have Overwhelm, so I took him out. But let's see what you're about, my dude. I dig it. All right, pretty good start here, though. We'll get the Battlecaster on board. We'll get to swing with everybody. Opponent shouldn't have too scary of units in this spot. I'm going to say we at least get to crash in with this Battlecaster. Mystic Shot makes it a little bit more challenging since our unit's dead. And we'll just swing in with the dudes that we got. All right, hand's starting to get a little bit clunky here with the Blowback coming up, the double copies of Draven along with Jinx. A little unfortunate, but we're not in that bad of a spot. Might actually find ourselves with a pretty good Blowback next turn, depending on the size of the unit that the opponent hits here. Dashing Dandy is a pretty good bro to be bringing in. Lots of stats across the board. It's almost tempting to just go ahead and block with Draven and then just play another Draven next turn. That's probably a little greedy. My real question for this deck is if it's going to have an answer for Jinx right now. Like, this is a very scary play, just dropping this Jinx in, because if we really want her to be the last card that we play, but it's not super clear the removal of the opponent's going to play. When we were playing Timelines, I just played like 2 copies of Thermogenic Beam, and that was it. I've seen other people playing a lot of like Piltover Tellstones, and so she doesn't feel super safe, but what else are we really doing otherwise this turn? Let's just roll the dice with Jinx here. I don't want to have to say like Whirling Death, a Dashing Dandy. That sounds kind of shitty to me. And so we'll skip over that and then just hope that the opponent's not playing some kind of super removal heavy version of this. If we can roll into the next turn, we have a very good chance to flip the Jinx with the Blowback in hand, just discarding some, just a couple of expensives, but definitely dangerous angle to take here. Feels better than open attacking, though. Like, if we open attack, say he puts the Dandy in front of the Urchin, we can get the trade with the Spinning Axe we punch in for like 6. I don't know, man. That doesn't excite me. All right, let's see how this goes. I feel better with Jinx. There's not a ton of cards opponent would be playing here that's really going to hit Jinx at a fast speed. So opponent tries to get the takedown with Troll Chant. We say, no thank you. That was a very aggressive Troll Chant onto Draven. We get the punish with our Jinx taking down his big unit. See if we can't forge on and forge forward. It's kind of nice having these 1 health units hanging out on the board, as we have a multitude of ways to just get rid of those things. This hand is so awkward with all of the Dravens we've picked up. I think we just want to pass. Let's wait and see if he adds another unit to the board. Like, I'm not entirely opposed to 3-banking with this ridiculous hand that we have at the moment. I think he's going to give up on this. Let's just play the singular Blowback. Worst pirouette 2023, am I right? Worst pirouette. And a vision turns up. This is just so awkward. I think we're stuck just slamming. He's gonna get a good block on the round, and just do some axe spinning, discard the vision, boost the smallest unit. That gets us pretty close to lethal. Opponent's typical play here, I think, would be like Buried in Ice. And so it's nice to come in and get the open attack so we don't have to worry about that stuff. If he does play Buried in Ice, we're kind of hosed in turn. No, we're okay to win the game here. I thought that we were going to have... I thought our discards were going to be too awkward. We have to only do a 2 damage blowback for the turn. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Deal 1 to an enemy, discard 1, because we need to be able to discard this spinning axe, right? And so we're stuck just dealing 2 damage with the blowback. And then we'll have to discard the spinning axe to get the other Draven out of our hand. It does still get him to exactly 3, so we can get him with the Get Excited. Opponent sees what's up, brings in the concession, says GG bust. And on to the next one we go. All right, on to the next one. Good stuff. Good stuff. And so, yeah, definitely going to be playing a ton of Jinx Draven. I'm excited as the best of 3s come forth and we see what ridiculous aggro shenanigans we get to play in Eternal. It's always kind of like a bummer in Standard when the way I try to describe it is you can play 3 aggro decks, but they fall down the tier list really quickly. And it's just always sad when you're not out of here playing Decimates on everything and just blasting the opposing face like that. Alright, though. I like these heavy aggro starts. We're up against Sejuani Teemo. I don't expect too much on the first turn to really be stopping us here. Continuing on with the game plan nicely. We'll have the Urchin into Flame Cannon next turn. See if we can't keep this aggro stuff up. That's not a Teemo. Rummage comes in. I think at the end of the day, Rummage is a card I'd probably like to have over like the 3 blowbacks. It's tough. Like I'll run through like streaks to where interesting. I want to take this unit down before he gets a chance to Troll Chant. To where you play a lot of just like high Masters players, even though we're in Silver, and then you play some real Silver players in Silver. I'm curious to the level of frustration a lot of opponents run into as to where if you're a just kind of like naturally Silver player, and then you're stuck playing against all these Masters players that are just rolling through because of the big reset. I'm curious if that's been a point of contention over the course of the past few days. I'm sure it'll just kind of even out over time, and that's just something people have to deal with. All right, Puffcat Peddler comes in. I'm not too upset about that. I mean, this is a pretty good target for blowback. I think the question is, do we want to just be discarding Augmented Experimenter? Because we're getting really close to just ending the game. If we kill the Peddler, do 3 to face. Losing out on Draven makes it a little bit more challenging. This is tough in terms of the stuff that we actually want to discard here. I was counting on Draven to do a lot of damage. So otherwise, let's say if we blow back this turn, next turn we play Jinx, 2 turns from now we get to play the Augmented Experimenter. What do we really care about in our hand at that point? And we don't care about Rummage or Poro Cannon, so I think these are okay to both just throw away. Let's do it while his spell is on the stack. Maybe we get rid of 1 axe and a Rummage instead. We can still discard 1 spinning axe, but there's no reason to hold on to 2 spinning axes. Oh, I meant to hang on to the Rummage, not the Poro Cannon, but is what it is. The thing with having Rummage in our hand is it would have let us flip the Jinx next turn. So it is kind of a bummer to be discarding that, right? We might find ourselves... Well, you can technically just flip Jinx with the Poro Cannon, right? We can discard 1 card to Spinning Axe and then discard secondarily with the Poro Cannon, but it's not the way I wanted it to go. Let's see. I mean, we might just outright win the game this turn, right? If he plays some rando expensive unit, we can hook out of combat with the Flame Chompers, or if this is an Aftershock onto Jinx, we have a lot of options here. Okay, so Spinning Axe. Discarding Experimenter. That goes on our small unit. Poro Cannon. Discarding Rearguard. Now we get the rocket in hand. To swing with the squad, hook Dum Dum out of combat here, and then we're still good to Death Rocket after combat. Cool. I guess that worked out in place of having the Rummage, though, right? If we had the Rummage, we wouldn't have been able to do that, and so sometimes... Sometimes those misclicks save the day for you. Appreciate it, game. It's like either plan would have worked. Double Spinning Axe would have worked, and then the misclick would have worked. The only play that wouldn't have let us win the game this turn is the one that I was planning on making. And so I appreciate it. The divine forces are watching over us today as we try to throw away as many games as we can. I appreciate it. You divine being looking over us. Uh-oh. Did opponent drop the phone in the toilet? That happens on occasion. On occasion. Looks like it. Oh, Keeving, upset. Upset that the Jinx is rolling through. No Sejuani action today. You don't even get to see turn 5. Why even bother playing cards like Sejuani if the game's not even going to go to turn 6? Out here asking the real questions. Alright, GG. Well played. GLHF, GG, WP. Got them all. There it is. Get him with that Star Guardian stuff. Alright. Not bad. Mark it a W. That's what happens when you turn all your cards premium, you know? The forces watching over you are like, nah, dude. Let me have a shot at this. Let me take control. What is it? What is it? I can't remember the bumper sticker about Jesus being my co-pilot or whatever it is. Maybe that's what it is. Jesus is our co-pilot today. I thought he was supposed to be like the pilot. He was the one in charge, but maybe that's not the case. All right, though. Onward and upward. Here, we're up against the mirror match, right? We're up against another Jinx Draven deck, and so I'm willing to hold on to the survival skills along with this hand that already has Draven in it. And so, if we were on the even attacks, this hand might be a little bit too scary since we're not really dropping anything in the early game. But on the odd attacks, I think it's kind of okay if we don't have anything to do on the second turn of the game. And then we get to push into turn 3 with Draven and the survival skills. And so the big thing that we're looking to kind of hang on to here is protecting either Draven or Jinx with the survival skills, and ideally that's going to be on the defensive. And so what you tend to see out of a lot of these attacks is when you say attack with Draven, he's generally just pretty safe, right? He's got the quick attack, he can shut down the opposing attacks, but he's not as good on defense. And if you're basically able to force a trade out of your opponent's high-valued unit with your survival skills, it's a very good place to be. No reason to not attack with the Urchin here. You should be sending the whole squad in. Right? Why do you not attack with the Urchin? Are we gonna say, hey, I want to block with your unit that's worse, right? I'd rather take down your bad unit as opposed to your good one in the Saboteur. I don't quite understand that. I wonder if that was a poor finger swipe. All right, let's see what Draven can do here. That's unacceptable. It's a bit of an unfortunate turn for this, but at least we do get to protect the Draven. We get to attack and get the additional spinning axe off of the strike. We can then discard the spinning axe to rummage or whatever if we want. But we gotta worry a little bit about the attacks on the next turn, especially if opponent comes at us with a Draven of their own. Maybe we'll get to Whirling Death Theme or something. Drop the blowback on him. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think what we're wanting to do is we'll see what opponent plays, but ideally we'll be able to get this Jinx down next turn and Flipper. And so with that in mind, like here we're definitely going to be discarding Flame Chompers to get the unit on board. But I think we're going to want to hang on to both Rummage and Spinning Axe. We're not going to have the mana to actually play this Draven card. It does suck a little bit to potentially lose out on Draven here. Like if opponent has a Mystic Shot or something to kill our Draven, you know, it's a real pain point. But sure, I think getting the flipped Jinx online next turn is just a little bit more important. We get to cycle through some cards anyways. So we'll get to rummage away the spinning axe, and then whatever we draw for the turn, maybe we'll pick up a nice discard card here as well. Nope, just another Jinx. Little unfortunate. Appreciate you dropping all these 1 health units on the board, though. I didn't want to see that other Zonite Urchin be the discard there. I said, get them all on board. Drop all your 1 healthers. the cannon's coming through. Uh-oh. That's too much, Bust. That's too much. GG. On to the next one. That was one of those spots to where I know we're playing the mirror match, so it's not the most ideal place for the crowd favorite, but I think it should have still been okay, right? If say we just draw a cheap unit on the next turn and we're able to play Jury Rig and the cheap unit and the crowd favorite, then we're going to catch up real quick in terms of units on board. Like you don't want to be playing a 3-2 for 4 or however terrible the crowd favorite can be. But I think he was in a little bit better shape there. All right, on to the next one, though. Up against Steve and Swain. Big old removal heavy deck, I'm sure. Let's jump on in. I'm going to get rid of that vision. I'd like to find some more just cheap units to run out in this game. Ideally, things that can survive a 1 damage AoE. Didn't quite turn up. Get in there, rear guard. God, I missed you. I missed you so much, my friend. I missed you so much. You've been the delight of my life. Alright, is he gonna drop heavy metals on us? Is that still a thing in this format? Sure is, apparently. Okay. Alright, let's get old Draven in here. Brings a stun. I think we're still stuck attacking. Like, it's unfortunate when you see hands like this and we have the crowd favorite and not the way to really load it up. Opponent's going to let us keep it at this point, though, so that's kind of generous. But we weren't quite ready to just load up a bunch of stats on him. We're looking to just take this one. Not that big of a deal. Are going to be wasting a spinning axe here to get the bigger dude on board. But has the stats to survive through some of these units. Yeah, everybody's coming on board. Say what up? Here come the big boys. Oh shit! I didn't want to play Jinx. I thought that we were gonna have like so much mana this turn. And it was just not the case whatsoever. I did not want to actually play her here. I think this will still work out okay. Oh, this is not good. Are we actually just stuck passing here? That was a definite mistake. We should have got the Battlecaster down this round. But let's stop and see if we can't fix it, though, right? The crowd favorite attack is kind of okay, but then we're not really going to want to be blocking Swain. The problem with Swain in this space is I don't want to be blocking Swain with either Jinx or with Draven. And so if we want to have a 4 health unit capable of blocking Swain, then we need to leave the crowd favorite up. It's not a very good blocker in the sense that if opponent has like literally anything, if they have a way to deal a single point of damage, then Swain gets to overwhelm through the crowd favorite and then just nuke our team. That's not good. FYI. FYI, that's not good. But it is what it is. No, this is just bad. Holy shit. Oh boy, that's not what I expected. Alright, let's see if we can't recover. It's a weird opponent didn't play anything there. I'm curious what we're actually up against. I mean, do you really just have a hand with like another Swain and 2 Riptide Rexes in it or something? Like, I guess you could have, say, like the Leviathan and Swain and Riptide Rex, and then maybe a I don't know, man. That's weird. The Leviathan, yeah. mean, it's really tempting to just not go for the death rocket and then just play the survival skills. But I mean, his Swain is at 1 health. We have the opportunity for just such a good for such a good death rocket on this board. Pick up a blowback. Maybe that's useful next turn. Gives us a way to get that last point of damage in, and we don't deserve that one. It's them premiums, yo. It's them premiums coming through. that has to be like spot on with his hand though, right? To where that Swain attack and just not having anything, like literally a single point of damage, with the Swain nuking our team would have just really wrecked our day. And so that has to be what it is, right? He has like, say, like a Swain or like a Scorched Earth, just the stuff that needs units to have damage, and none of our units have damage on them. He played the Leviathan, that makes sense. Like Riptide Rex makes a lot of sense. They just have to have like a really super awkward hand. We'll take it though. We'll take it for certain. All right, now up against Katarina Nora. This is one of the spots I'm not like super happy with this deck, and not having a way to kind of directly deal with Nora. It's got, you know, like flame chompers in it, but it's not like super ideal. This hand sucks. All right, here comes all my 1/1s. 1/1 crew coming at you. Drop your Blade's Edges. This deck most certainly plays Blade's Edge. This Katarina Nora deck. Maybe this will be one coming in. High toss. Okay. I'm booming. Get in there, squad. Aggro with the best of them. Okay. Ooh, it's a very awkward draw. Now the crowd favorite turns up for our handful of expensives. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Right on time. Alright, not happy about this. Well, let's get as much board as we can, right? So let's discard the Grenadier. Drop the bonus on... Do you want to put the bonus on our smaller unit? It's... Like, I think if at the end of the day, like, we give our unit the +1 attack, and then opponent... They have Pastry Toss up here, right? If they just Pastry Toss our little dude, I think I'm okay with that. Because then we get a really good attack to follow up with. And so let's like, right, if that's his play for the round is to kill off this 2/1 unit, and then just get nugged for 1 million. I think that's a good spot to be in. See if he drops a Disintegrate or something. Okay. So yeah, not a bad round. We get to crash in for a bunch of damage with our overwhelms. We have this other Draven in hand, and so he's going to be coming in soon, and then we're kind of ready to get Jinx going. And so I dig it. I dig it. Can't block that. All right. Well, we talked about Jesus being our co-pilot. Let's see how RNGesus rolls this next round. Opponent's got 3 portals at this point. They haven't hit any of them yet. We're not gonna dodge him, not getting portals. We're really just hoping to have some 1 health units hit the board that we can clear out with a death rocket. It's not a 1 health unit. I checked the mathematics on that one. We can still do all of this. Can add Jinx. We're just gonna have to discard Well, it's gonna be like a one card rummage. And it's like I really want to get the Battlecaster on board because it works so well with the Flame Chompers, but it's not gonna actually kill anything here. All right, whatever.
You should try blinking sometime.
That's the best angle to take in these games, right? You say, well, fuck it, whatever. All right, at least tapped out now. Good to know. Good to know our Jinx is safe. We can take a slightly different route now. I don't think the Death Rocket is actually that good on this board, right? I mean, it doesn't kill anything. I guess the spot we have to worry about is, say, the broad main blocking Draven. Doesn't sound super ideal, but... Trying to think if we ever... like, in this spot, what happens... Well, I'm trying to think if we can say, like, rummage and then just discard something to Spinning Axe, but then we only get one shot with our cards after that. Alright. Bonus attack onto Draven. In with the rummage. Now we can Death Rocket before we attack. I don't think he's going to block with Broadmane here, but I don't want him to have the option to block our Draven with Broadmane. Can be relevant getting the Spinning Axe hit in, though. Draven never wants to flip and overwhelm through this board of dum-dums.
Watch and learn.
So this will clear out, like, I was going to say the Honored Lord and the terrible... The terrible accountant. He'll keep his challenger back. Seems okay. And we'll see if we can't pop off a Death Rocket before he gets to attack here. But, I mean, this is one of these spots to where having this slightly higher health Draven makes all the difference. And that, he hit Stellacorn. And that he gets to, say, survive this hook from the Broadwing. It's one of those changes that, you know, whenever Riot makes just like a slight change to a card, and then you find yourself, oh, he's gonna, the Broadmane's gonna get the kill. It's like they make a slight change to a card, but that's all it takes just to make it like just a small percentage change. Man, we're stuck in this shitty spot again to where we only get one draw off of the rummage. Alright, well, let's cycle and pick up the other Death Rocket. It's gonna potentially kill Nora here, although not feeling really good. So we get to ideally kill the Nora, kill the Rune Weaver. Still need more burn or more overwhelms or something to finish this game off. It's going to take Draven a year and a half to flip here. Oh, he can even just hook Draven with the bird and then just pastry toss, right? The Broadmane's still on the board. This one should be done. If we're playing a more burn-heavy kind of game, I think we'd be okay, but... Alright. Let's just move on. On to the next one. It's one of those spots you'll find yourselves in if you're just trying to grind on the ladder. It's tough. Like if you're up in like the super high LP space, then it doesn't make sense. But you know, we have a percentage chance to win that game. We can just say like draw a Jinx off the top and then draw a Blowback the next turn, and then that's enough to get a lethal. But that only happens like 1% of the time. And so do we want to sit in this game for another 4 minutes to fight for that 1%er? Probably not. Probably not. All right, on to the next one, though. Up against the real Chief Queef. That's a very, very classy name. Let's just cycle out everything here. Look for some of those early plays, our early cyclers. Didn't quite have it there. Not a great mulligan, but we picked up a Draven. Ew. One of the things I do want to note with this is if you played a lot of Samira Jinx, that was the deck I played the most of at the end of the last season. It's not horrible to not have the one drop. You can certainly follow up with big explosive plays after the fact. You do run into some issues in the sense to where if you say have Legion Rearguard on turn 1, and then you get to attack for 3, then you play another unit on turn 2, then on turn 3 you play some more units, and then your opponent hasn't quite kept up with you, and that turn 1 Legion Rearguard can realistically turn into 6 or 9 or 12 damage. You do miss out on that aspect of it, but it's not to say that there's not a lot of explosive plays that we still can't make from this point. This game, probably done. We're probably just dead this game, but those opportunities are there. I think we want to skip past the Draven. God, I mean, this just sucks. It's like if the double battle cast. I think we have to go like double battlecaster into crowd favorite, but trading out our battlecasters for these little shitty units is so bad. Oh yeah, you got a buried armory, huh? Load up Zerath with your buried armory, I guess. All right, welcome to the board, 5-4. See if he plays Renekton here. Right? It's not in the list, but feels like the kind of spot where Renekton's about to come down. Siphoning Strike. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. We're gonna lose a couple more units, but we get to blast in for 6. Not real excited. What's this dumb thing cost? 3? At least you can't say, like, play Nexus this turn and then follow up with that card. Alright, well, we have to be open attacking on this next turn. There's no two ways around that. See if he makes a terrible attack this round with the Ambassador. Lets us get out in front of it. How do we feel about this, though? So let me slow my roll just a little bit here. Well, I was thinking, what happens if we just say Golden Ambassador, or hit the Golden Ambassador with the Augmented Experimenter, and then we just count on a unit to have survival skills to get through. So, like, we play all these units, and then he just plays Nexus, right? Nexus would be the one that makes sense here. He gets to block the crowd favorite with Nexus. I assume that he survives, and then he's only taking, like, 3, 6, 9, 10... But our biggest unit gets to survive, so the Nexus has to push down.
What are you waiting for?
This feels like we're gonna be discarding all this stuff anyways. Maybe it's not the case. We can still get these Poros on board and stuff. I kind of like the idea of building up board here just a little bit, and then like if we do roll into Nexus, I don't know how big he's going to be. I really wish you could click the card and just see if it said how many slays have happened this game. But if he's at like 6 or 7, we might be able to actually Whirling Death him down. Interesting. Okay. Maybe he just picked up Zerath or something. What? Now we're just not doing anything? I'm bamboozled. Bamboozled. What happens in that sequence? What? You drew a champion, but you're just not going to play it? Azir, okay. Huh. I don't know, man. Crazier shit's happened, I guess. There's the dog. He's big. There's a big old dog you got out here. Are we gonna I think we might find ourselves in a spot to where we can just flip our Draven here. Let's see what he does. Like we're not going to let him get kills with his Nexus, but discard one. Where are you at? Survival skills. It's all going to go onto our 5/4 here. Now he can try and kill stuff because we have this Whirling Death. Would we rather try and kill Azir? Probably not, right? We wanna kill Nexus. I'm not gonna throw a block in front of the Sand Soldier. If we get a spinning axe off of it, say we put Draven in front of Sand Soldier, we're just going to sure. We're just going to discard it anyways. Oh, he gets his strike, though? That's his way for a slay? Oh, that's nasty. Oh, it didn't count? I've struck for 10 damage. Oh, it doesn't count because our unit didn't fall. Something like that. Okay, well. I'll accept it. Thanks, game. Thanks, rules. What do we got? Survival skills, Rummage, and Zonite Urchin. Aight. What can we do now? What can we have go right? We can draw Jinx? Okay. I'm on board. See what kind of weird slay can come in to, to ruin our day here. There's the Death Rocket. I'm glad to see him play the equipment and not play a slay to protect his Nexus from the Death Rocket. That feels much better to me. Now we just send squad. We could we could look to overwrite something. Like, do we want to overwrite the crowd favorite with the Battlecaster? Or would we rather just save the Battlecaster to discard next turn? We should be picking up a discard from Draven anyways. Right, but it lets us deal 4 damage with these Daring Poros instead of 2 damage. Our Ogre's not dealing damage this turn anyways. And so this does give them a chance to play another unit, but at the end of the day, we're just counting on this 4 damage from these Poros to be what we actually do this turn. Nexus is gonna flip, and we're not gonna deal any real damage after that. That's a fucking scary card, though. That's not one I was really expecting to see. I should. This thing is much more playable now. I'm trying to click on it so you can see it, but the Glory's Call. It was buffed 2 patches ago to cost 5 mana instead of 6. All right. Well, he didn't do anything. Just want this Nexus down to the right. Don't want him blocking somewhere down to the left and then -1 attacking our whole team. It's a big damage here. Not expecting to get kills. Interesting. But between the Death Rocket and the Blowback and a probable Death Rocket next turn, that should be enough to end the game. All right. There it is. Nexus finally gets his flip. Is the sun disk out here? Do we have to watch the whole movie? No? Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Alright, GG. Well done, Bust. You won that game. Alright, next battle.
Oh, me. And maybe those other guys. Whatever.
This deck is one of those decks like Annie-Gen that can be surprisingly deceptive. It's like you have a lot of those games to where, you know, you have these draws to where you just say, like, completely flood the board, and then you have, like, a double Arena Battlecaster into a Vision discard or something, and you just annihilate your opponent on turn 5. But the deck doesn't get enough credit for a lot of the decision-making that can actually go into it. Right, if you have one of these draws to where we say Zonite, Urchin, Jury Rig turn 1, Arena Battlecaster turn 2, and then on turn 3 you'd say play like a House Spider and another 1-drop and say LOL, here comes my attack. Those games, excuse me, those games don't take nearly as much thought, but like that last one, there was a lot of intricacies rolling through with that, a lot of choices to be made. All right, get in there, squad. Up against Rise. I haven't seen this dum-dum in a long time. he doesn't make as many appearances as he used to. Eye of the Dragon. I don't miss that card. That's a mathematical fact right there. I can give you the theorem on how much I hate Eye of the Dragon. Get that dum-dum out of here. Alright, these are the draws we deserve. Double Grenadier. You're a little slow to the party, but that's okay. Alright, you need to play some spells, my dude. You gotta start flowing and getting some little dragonlings. Shart of Betrayal. Never trust a fart. You youngsters out there probably trust all your farts. As soon as you get old, you gotta cut that nonsense out. I hope you all are familiar with the terminology. Never trust a fart. It's vital. Vital for us old folks out there. You know what a shart is, right? It's when you fart and a poop comes out. It's a shit and a fart all in one. You're welcome. Old Man Bust here delivering the knowledge bombs to you just like you not only wanted, deserved, and needed. And so I'm glad. I'm glad I can do my best to help. Let's see what we can do here to finish this one off. I'm going to lead off with the Zonite Urchin. Opponent's gonna kill some of our stuff this turn, but I want to be able to death rocket away this Dragonling before we actually make an attack, and I think that's gonna get us in a pretty good spot here. He doesn't have the mana refill shard, and so his plays here kind of suck, right? If the ideal viewpoint from Rise is you're gonna play a shard and get all the mana back, and play a card and then play another shard and get all your mana back. He doesn't have that going on right now, and so ultimately feel pretty safe with this. Losing a unit, that's okay.
Anything else? Stick your lip out and give 'em puppy eyes. Trust me.
That was dangerous, right? We probably shouldn't have discarded the Reborn Grenadier. Like, I guess we still have the 6-cost one in hand. We could play the Reborn Grenadier, discard literally anything, and then still play the other Legion rear card. That would have been fine. I think we're good to go, though. He's only got 2 mana at this point. He missed again with his Shard of Hope. Gaining a little bit of health, not gaining back any mana. So we'll be able to flood the board, blow up the Dragonling, and then try and finish it off. Oh shit, is this going to be the last one? No? Oh, he doesn't have the mana anymore. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so Death Rocket comes in. We're going to play it, blow up the Dragonling. And then with our remaining 4 units battling through, most certainly enough to end the game. It's only a matter of time, Zyterox. That was a yikes. The Arena Battlecaster has such good lines. I appreciate it. I appreciate the good voice lines we get in this game. It adds that little bit of flavor that you don't get out of all the other ones. But all right, good stuff. Victory is ours. The final battle is here. Game number 8 about to come underway. Doing battle in the gold bracket now. Feels good, man. Feels good. Be Masters before you know it. People are already in Masters. They were in Masters yesterday, 2 days ago for you now. And so I'm not really surprised. Like, there's always somebody, the day that something is released, just decides to grind for like 16 hours straight just so they can be the first one. And so I shouldn't have been too surprised that happened here. And it's just like it would commonly happen in Hearthstone, but the player base in Hearthstone was so much bigger, allegedly, that you didn't know. Who knows, man? Some nerd did the math and said that there was like 100 or 500,000 people on the NA Path of Champions leaderboard, and so who knows, man? Who knows? There could be literally billions of people playing this game. Alright, well, I'm going to continue to flood the board here. Very awkward draw with the triple Draven. Look how chiseled this guy is, though. He's ready to party. It's the summertime out here. Bro's ready to get at it. Who are these other people? This one, this blonde lady looks familiar, but I'm not familiar with these other ones. It's just too tough to see. Too hot to handle with Draven out here. Where are these people? Is that Lux? This redheaded guy doesn't look familiar. That's Alistar in the background, right? He's not in the game yet. I recognize these other bros. All right, good board. Let's battle. Should know who all these are. That's embarrassing. My level of knowledge is too low. Alright, though. Nice combat. We'll get our Draven down next turn. See if opponent manages to throw an avalanche or something at us. Ooh. Vision turns up. Nora is not an avalanche. But we're going to be slamming for a ton of damage next turn. Alright, who thinks he hits this 25% turn and gets the unit right away? I'm going to put my money on it. I'll take even money on that bet. Opponent's a 75% favorite here. Give me even money. I'll take it. Better think on this a little harder. Use all that clock. Could be playing against Life Coach right now. Who knows? Put down his Slay the Spire, came and picked up the Legends of Runeterra. I feel you. There you go. Use that whole thing. Don't want to waste any of your resources today. Got to stop and think real hard on all these plays. Nice. Nice work. Alright, well, I'm going to preemptively Spinning Axe. If we send in all of our units, it's not lethal, and so opponent could realistically just not block here, and we wouldn't get a chance to play our card. I want to make sure we get all this damage in, so that if he does have a way to clear the board after all this, then we're going to at least have all the damage in, and then be in a spot to where we draw Jinx, we draw Blowback, we should be able to finish off the game. What do we got? Troll Chant, sure. And a Pokey Stick. Alright, well let's try and take down this Nora.
Come out and play.
Give me that free spinning axe. We'll get a little bit of protection for our units next turn if he wants to play Avalanche or something. I have to imagine the Nora deck isn't playing Avalanche, but it's nice if he wants to try and kill off a unit, we can protect it with the spinning axe. Or protect it with the survival skills.
I seem to have missed
Nora comes in. Alright. So many survival skills. So we can play 2. We have to decide either we let all of our units go and die to this. The problem with the survival skills is it's going to go on our highest, or our strongest units, and so we'll play 1 and it's going to go onto Draven, and Draven's not the one actually dying here. I think we just have to let it happen. At least we get to keep some discardable stuff if we pick up a rummage or something.
step lively. To and fro and to.
Alright, well he's got to block Draven here. That's at least a start. And Jinx, right? Oh, god damn it, he's hit double portal. Okay.
God axes need victims. No honor.
We can still make our way through this. I was thinking if we wanted to try and get the level up's going to be too far away. So we'll just hang on to the axes, see if we can't. We just basically have to draw Jinx at this point. Might be able to get a wide enough board with the Legion Rearguard and whatever units we draw next turn, but it's gonna be tough to do. More Dravens, not what we're looking for.
Doors to adventure.
All right, Yeti comes in. We want to drop our boy Rearguard. Sure.
Need a second.
Get in there, friend.
Hot on the trail.
Skip and a hop.
All right.
I seal this by
Giving us a shot, giving us a chance. Let's see what we can do.
Now we're cooking.
Well, that can get us a flipped Draven with the survival skills for the next turn, right? And so maybe that big overwhelm power would be enough to finish off the game. One can dream, one can hope. Let's wait 10 minutes on this flash freeze to come in, and then we can call it a day, you know? Better think on this one long and hard. We're in the gold bracket, yo. That's pretty much the top of the ladder. So boring. I'm putting it out there, dude. Alright, no Civio. You're boring. You're boring. Alright, give me that flip. Spinning axe number 1, coming into hand. Sweet flips. Nice work, Draven. Give me 2 more of them axes, please. I believe in you, Draven. You're gonna finish this game off for us. His blocks are too good right now, but... Jinx. Aw. Alright, what you got, deck? Rearguard. None of that was Jinx. Andy hits Tasty Feyfolk? Are you serious? Alright, whatever. GG, I guess. Alright, so... good set of games, good set of battles, nice 6-2 record. We can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. And so I think a lot of that was, fairly spot on. The blowback is a powerful card. We got to cast it a few times. Only one of the times was particularly relevant, but it's not really a card I want to be playing 3 copies of, especially as we have this list here where we're playing crowd favorites and augmented experimenters. It's just way too many. It's very easy to run into those spots to where we had a hand that would be like Draven, Jinx, Blowback, augmented experimenter, and you can't really do your core game plan. You don't want to get too far away from that core game plan, flooding the board and boosting all the units with Vision and Arena Battlecaster. And so the Blowbacks, I would be okay to play like 1 copy, I think. I don't think I want 2. And 3 is definitely way too many. But again, I wanted to be able to kind of showcase it today. I didn't want to play 8 games and draw it 0 times. That's just kind of a bummer when you're trying to showcase the new cards. And so that should go back a little bit. The other thing, it's very tough is in the sense that we're playing crowd favorite, and it was very tough. We didn't really get to flood the board enough with it, but what I think is going to be very common in the sense of the control decks is we're going to see a lot of Nora, right? We played against Nora like 3 times today, and it just kind of is what it is. And if you want to be able to crash through Nora, you have to either be able to overwhelm or you have to be able to elusive. And so I think the way that I'd kind of feel better about this deck is if we cut the blowbacks down to maybe like 1, leave the 2 crowd favorites, cut the Poro Cannons, and then start playing things like House Spider or playing Crimson Pigeon, just something a little bit more aggressive in the early game that lets us build up to these crowd favorites and generate that big overwhelm unit. Like I know we did get a little bit of success with the Poro Cannons against the Sun Disk, but it still felt very slow, and it feels like something you want in like you remember when like discard Lulu Jinx was a thing, that kind of deck where you're building up more elusives than just the Poro Cannons. And so you also get that kind of opportunity to boost them with a Lulu and attack for 4 damage instead of just the 1. And so that's where I'm kind of like leaning for this deck. I'm certain we'll get into more of a list that we're happy and familiar with. I hope you like Discard Draven, because we're going to be playing a lot of this deck as soon as the best of 3s roll around. I think it's a very powerful and strong deck. The thing that I really kind of lean into this deck with, and the idea I have with it, is the people that are trying to directly counter this deck right now are playing Nora, and their win rate is not nearly high enough to warrant that as being the counter to Jinx Draven. Like if these Nora matches that we've lost have been exceptionally close, and if we were going to drag out the course of the video for an extra 15 minutes and try and draw into burn spells, some of those games were definitely winnable as well. And so I think that's what makes me feel particularly good about this, is the people trying to hard counter this deck aren't doing it particularly well. And so definitely a good place to be in playing the Jinx Draven. And the Draven, of course, felt very good and very strong. He was a powerhouse throughout the course of the day. No situations on the day to where I wanted Samira in place of Draven. I'm not sure if I'd be saying that if she didn't get nerfed with the Flair. Like, I don't care about the rally. The Flair nerf was pretty harsh. But you lose out on that ability to, say, set up a hook with Reborn Grenadier. Like that's just completely gone now. And the power of spinning axes is pretty spectacular. And so very, very happy to see our boy Draven get upgraded. So, nonetheless, we're getting rambly, good stuff, good games. I had fun. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so, hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope we maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. So, this is Bust, and we thank you for being here.